name is Oscar Ruan, and today's topic is violence and video games. How do you think that children are affected by violent video games? According to the article Experimental Study of Differential Effects of Playing Video Games versus Watching Violent Video Games, it was led by Hanek Paulman. In our world today, we as a society have noticed that there has been an increasing amount of aggression in children. They have the aggression towards others and sometimes even to themselves. The experimental study mentioned previously investigates the effects of watching versus actually playing these games. The study included 57 children, all aged between 10 and 13 years of age. And the way that the researcher measured these behaviors was they had peer nominations, which basically means that they had a recess time during school, and the researcher will report back any aggressive behaviors that the researcher has noticed between the kids as they were playing together. We try to filter what our kids see on TV and on their daily activities and in their daily lives. But when it comes to video games, you can't really have that same level of censorship. And here we have developmental psychologist Angelina Kistler to talk about more into depth on this experimental study conducted.
Good evening. I'm Angelina Kistler reporting to you from VF News, and today we're going to be studying the differential effects of playing versus watching violent video games on children's aggressive behavior. So in the study, basically there was 3 groups of children, and 3 kids were chosen to play the video games, and they chose an active violent, a passive violent, and a non-violent video game. As they played for 15 minutes, a set of children watched them as they played. And after the children who observed, they were told to fill out a questionnaire on a scale of 5 points of frustration on each child who played the video games. And of course, the active violent video game is the one who scored more of the violence and frustration in the child who played. As you can see in the interviews I conducted, you will be able to see how other people feel on the children's behavior that is affected by playing violent video games. Are they more aggressive? Do they think they're frustrated? Do playing violent video games lead to other problems in our community, in our world?
Do you have any younger siblings or older siblings that play violent video games, such as like Call of Duty or anything?
Yeah, I have a little brother, and me and him play together.
Do you see his behavior change while he plays or as he watches?
If we're playing and I'm winning, he gets more frustrated.
What are your thoughts on children playing violent video games?
I don't feel they should play them.
Do you think it has them have a change in behavior, either like aggressive, specifically more of violent video games like Call of Duty, any games like that?
Yes, I do. I think that also tends to be what's going on with our school shootings and different things. Kids are thinking that's a cool thing to do, and I don't think they should be playing stuff like that at such a young age.
So as the study continued, they came to the conclusion that boys who play the video game actively had more aggressive behavior than females who played. Also, the children who played rather than watched had a higher level of aggression playing. And also, throughout the study, after children who observed were told to fill out another questionnaire on how they thought the children reacted, if they had any physical, verbal, or hostile violence, and it was mainly deliberately hostile violence.
We can clearly see a relationship with the experiment on how violent video games affect our children's behaviors and how aggressive they become. In the topic of violent video games, another study was conducted by Christopher Ferguson and Stephanie Urella with 103 young adults. These young adults were randomly selected and randomly assigned to either play video games or to not play video games. They were all given a frustration task. The results of this experiment may shock you. From the Texas A&M International University, we have Malika Iris, a developmental psychologist, to give us more insight on this experiment.
Also has a counter-argument that violent video games acts as a coping mechanism for depressed adolescents. Violent video games may offer an avenue for exploring feelings of helplessness and loss of control and power by offering circumstances in which the person can exert control and accomplish tangible and intermediate goals. So it can act as an outlet for adolescents who feel hopeless and depressed in life, and it can actually help them. So I also interviewed people to get their opinions on that as well.
Well, how are you?
Good. So the topic is video game violence, and the article states that kids dealing with depression use video game violence as a outlet. So do you think that is true or not?
I feel like kids use video games to escape their world, yes, but I don't feel video games are the best way to escape.
Why not?
Because I feel like they give them a false sense of reality.
So if you were a depressed teen, would you use video games as an outlet?
No.
All right, thank you for your response. So here we're doing a demonstration on 8-year-old Alex. He's going to be playing 2 different games for us. He's currently playing a game called Champs. It's a violent video game where there's constant fighting in every level, and he's starting to get very aggressive with it. Oh my god, he's acting very out of control. No! So after a 5-minute cooldown session, we switched him on to Super Mario 3D World, where currently he's in the middle of a level and he just died.
I'll just restart. Okay.
So with this game, he has a little less aggression because it's just a very playful game and he doesn't act out as much. Hey, how are you today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. So the topic is violent video games, and according to the social learning theory, the reason why adolescents experience aggressions through violent video games is because they can't tell the difference between real life and fake life. Do you think that's true?
Yes, that's true, because the kids doesn't really know the difference between the real life thing and a violent video, because the video is showing them they're doing something. So when they really go into try to do it, and then they find out that's really real life, and they end up hurting someone for no reason. So it's truth to not letting underage kids use certain violent game to play with, because they don't really know the difference between the right and wrong on that part. That's why we have so many violent going on in our community and also in the world, because they don't really know the right and wrong from it so far. So it's something they need to think about it before they send those certain video out, to make sure the kids understand the right and the wrong on it, because we're not really setting a good example by doing letting them play those videos. Because when they're doing in real life, they think they're doing a video. They think they're playing a video. They don't think real life they're really hurting someone.
Would you let your kid play violent video games?
Not really. It's like I have a young kid. I will not let him play that certain video. I will make sure he doesn't download those videos himself. And yes, I have adolescent kids. They know the right and wrong, so they know exactly. I cannot really tell them not to play, because they are adult kids. But the little one, yes, I'm not gonna let that happen, because it's really gonna hurt them, because they don't really know the difference between right and wrong. Because when they get to a weapon, they're gonna think it's okay to play with the weapon the same way they play the video game.
Okay, thank you for your response.
For today, we have, oh my god, from the Texas A&M International University, we have Malika. Oh shit, I don't get your last name either.
Iris. Okay. Oh, why is it not playing?
The study included 57 children, all aged between 10 to 13 years old. years of age. Shit! The way the researcher measured the aggression, they had a peer nomination. Oh my god. Censorship. Here we have developmental psychologist Angelina to talk about, I don't know your last name.
Kistler.
How do you spell that? I'm just going to spell it how it sounds.
Kisler.
We're gonna have a lot of bloopers.
Yeah. Alright. But when it comes to video games, you can't really have that same level of censorship, and we are not really able to provide the. Ooh, I was repeating myself. Okay, let's start again. We aren't really able to provide the same censorship. Here to talk about more into depth of the violent video game may shock you. From the Texas A&M International University, we have Malika. Oh shit, I don't get your last name either.
Iris.